Welcome back. You are listening to Whissel Wednesdays here on AM 1170 The Answer. My name is Kyle Whissel, your host with Whissel Realty. Before the break, we were talking with John Minto. I don't even know how to introduce you anymore because you are involved in more things than I've been involved in my whole life, which is awesome. Again, if you want to connect with John, got questions for him about the Santee Community, California Health Network, Walk with a Councilman, again, next Saturday the 23rd. 8 a.m., Walker Preserve, 9500 block of Magnolia Avenue. Awesome opportunity to come out, meet the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. John Minto. If you want more info, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. So we're here in our last segment. I've got Clay Murray, Jason Hall, both with Team Home Loans, part of Synergy One Lending. Guys, let's dive into the real estate market. We talked a lot about Santee, awesome community, awesome things happening, lots of fun stuff on the horizon out there. But let's dive in. It's a new year. It's 2016. I don't think we've had an opportunity on the show this year to really get into our predictions of what we see happening. So break it down for someone listening to the show right now that's thinking about making a move, whether they want to sell their current home, they want to buy a home, or they're deciding if they should even buy or rent.
Right. Great question, Kyle. Don't wait, right? Everybody's been saying for 6 years rates are going to go up, and they've been wrong 6 years in a row. I think eventually they're going to be right, and this is, I think, the year.
What a bold prediction there.
I mean, they're finally going to be right? So I think this is the year. So the longer you wait, the less home you'll be able to buy. Prices are still accelerating. You want to get in a community, Santee, somewhere that you can raise a family if you want to have a family, or if you want to be downtown because you're young and you're a hipster, and that's where you want to be. But I wouldn't wait. So my prediction is prices will continue to increase. Not crazy, but they're going to go up somewhere in that 5 to 10% range. Rates will increase. Again, not crazy, but they're going to keep sliding up. And as they slide up, if you wait a year or two from now, you're going to look and rates are going to be, say, 5%, maybe 5.5%, 6%. And that really impacts your purchasing power, right, Clay?
Yeah. I mean, we've already seen it in the last year. This time last year, rates were in the mid-3s. So now, we're up into the low 4s, which is still an outstanding rate to lock in for 30 years. But right now, this time of year, you kind of have the perfect buying storm. Kyle's talked about it at his office before that a lot of sellers or a lot of buyers take, obviously, fourth quarter off because of the holidays. They're traveling, they're with family, they're doing whatever. And then first quarter, people start to get excited. This is the year I'm going to be a homeowner. And then we start to see the trend really spike in spring and summer, and that's when sellers get the most for their money. But unfortunately, buyers pay way too much.
Right.
So if
and
you're
the
on
guidelines
the cusp,
have actually opened up, right? I mean, there's lending programs that are now available that you can purchase a home even at $600,000 range with 5%. It was 10% last year, so now you can get in with 5%, live there in Santee, right, or anywhere else in the community. Also, some of the newer guidelines we talked about the last few episodes here. You can actually utilize your friend's rent that they're paying you to rent a room to qualify for a loan, Kyle. And this is huge. I know Clay's talked about it. We're going to be on a TV show with Craig Sony tomorrow talking about that. But you want to touch base a little bit about that at all?
Yeah, so that's new. I mean, last year I remember trying to do this a couple times for people. And, I'll go to bat for my clients pretty much every time. Even if I know there's slim to no chance, I'll still ask. And the question was, I know the mortgage is under my name, but I'm going to get a roommate, and he's going to pay me. So why can't that qualify as income? Well, in the past, it couldn't. That's called boarder income. You're basically boarding someone, and they're helping you, afford your mortgage. But on paper, that doesn't count. Well, now the guidelines have changed. We're actually going to be able to use that money. So people are going to go in, as college students, going to live together here for a year before they move. Why rent together when you can own together and then sell and make a profit and split it? So that's a huge opportunity for what we're calling the millennials.
Millennial program. It really is something unique. You got to have, can't make $100,000, $200,000 a year and get into something like that. But,
sure.
But there are some income limits, so it's not for everybody. But you need to search out Clay at teamhomeloans.com. Get some information. Clay's a millennial, helping a ton of buyers, doing a great stuff. He started with us back in 2014. Here we are, 2016. And you're just continuing to learn, right, Clay? I mean, he was on the radio, John. This guy worked at a radio station, and now he has done amazing things the last few years here in the mortgage business.
So what you're saying is anybody on the radio can make good.
You can make
Yeah.
good. You can make good.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying, John. Sure. But yeah, I mean, the radio business was a real blast, but mortgage was always in my family. My dad did it. And my good buddy Travis Sailing, who's been on the show several times, he's the one who convinced me to take the plunge and get mortgages back in the Murray family. And I can't believe it, man. It's almost 2 years already.
Yeah, it goes quick. So, Kyle, predictions. So what do you see real estate? I mean, a lot of people listening right now, they're like, where should I be buying? Where, everybody's always worried. If I got in too late, the house has gone up, 20, 30% over the last, say, 4 years. What's Kyle Whissel's prediction? One of the top real estate brokers in all of San Diego.
I'm buying anything I can touch right now. So what we've seen, December was abnormal. December is always a slow month. And this December, I think, was abnormally slow. I think people were just checked out this December. They always do for the holidays, but I think more so this particular December. But like you guys mentioned, it's kind of the boy who cried wolf talking about rates going up. And it's been that way for, like you said, 6 years. But for the first time in 9 years, the Fed's actually stepped up and raised rates. And we've talked about it on the show before. The rate that the Fed's raised is not mortgage rates. They're not a direct correlation, but there is some level of an indirect correlation.
Correct.
And the Feds have come out and said this isn't the last time. This is the first time. We're going to do some more of this in 2016. So I think people have really caught wind of that. And as soon as the first of the year hit, our phones at Whissel Realty have been blowing up. Our website has been blowing up. So many people, they just waited for the holidays to get over, and there's all this pent-up demand right now. So, I mean, there are so many people looking to get into the real estate market right now. Some people wanting to sell and move up to a bigger home, and some people just wanting to get into their first home. So it's shaping up to be an amazing year in 2016. At our office meeting yesterday, we went over some of the stats, and we talk about this all the time on the show. If you're listening to the majority of the media out there, they're going to give you two numbers. They're going to tell you what's the median price of homes that are selling and how many homes are selling. The problem is the stats they're giving you, on average, are between 3 and 5 months delayed from when those properties actually went into escrow. So you've got to realize those are lagging indicators. What you want to focus on are leading indicators, and the leading indicators are what's happening today. And the big thing that's happening today is there are less homes going on the market. There are more homes going off the market, which naturally leads to a shortage of supply of homes for sale. Whenever you have a shortage of supply, you have a surplus of demand, and a surplus of demand leads to rising prices. And I think that is going to be increase that demand because of the mortgage rate thing. I think that's only going to add fuel to the fire. What we're starting to see is people who normally wait till the spring or summer to make a move, they're looking at it, well, man, if we don't buy right now, the rates are going to be even higher if we wait. So let's move our timeline up. Let's get in the game right now. And we're already off to the busiest January I've ever seen. And I've been in this business, I don't even know how many years now, since 2002. 13, 14 years now I've been in this business. I've never seen it this busy to kick off a January.
Wow.
So we are excited. I think it's going to be an amazing year. I've got a couple properties I'm going to look at today to put offers in on for myself. I think the opportunity is amazing in 2016. And if you're listening to the show right now, I encourage you, reach out to us here at the show, 619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. We'll connect you with Clay and Jason, nail down the loan side of things. Most people kind of assume that they've got to start out and call a realtor first, but in reality, the lender is the first step in the equation. You don't want to start looking at homes and shortchange yourself. You might think people just pull numbers out of their head. I don't know where they pull the numbers, but they might think, well, I can only afford $4,000 a month in a mortgage, so I need to look at a $400,000 house. And I don't know where they get the math on that, but somehow they just correlate. 4s and 4s go together. But in reality, if you can afford a $4,000 a month mortgage, Jason, what does that come out to? I mean,
that's up in the sixes as a mortgage. That's a pretty good size. You could buy a $700,000 house, for something like that. That's huge.
Yeah, so we don't want you to, if you're listening to the show, we don't want you to shortchange yourself. We want to make sure you get the right home to fit your budget. And there's a lot of lenders and realtors out there that are going to stretch you, as far as they possibly can. What's different when you work with Team Home Loans and Whissel Realty is our goal is to not only find you the perfect home, but find it at the right price.
At your budget. So we sat down, we figured that out. That's something Clay's good at doing is what would you like to pay? Here's where the rates, here's the program based on that down payment, here's what you should be looking at so that you're not looking way too high. Most of us don't look too low, but I think most of us want that $700,000 house and we can't really afford more than $500, so why even look at it? But the one great thing about real estate is that it does allow the average person to get ahead, right? I mean, John talked about this. John was a San Diego PD, never made a ton of money, I imagine, at San Diego PD, John. But you purchased a home. It's almost paid off. It's allowed you to get ahead. So on your net worth, that's a huge plus that many people haven't taken advantage of, and they could have, right? So we don't want you to miss out on that opportunity of purchasing your first home or possibly moving up. As you talked about, with rates going up, it's a great, great time. But, John, you want to hit on that at all about owning real estate?
Well, when like I was saying earlier, my tax guy said you need to do better on your taxes. And so what a better way of getting into it is into a home. And you find the right broker, you find the right real estate guy, and they'll help you. Just like you were talking about. We'll figure it all out, make it easy for you, and then I'll tell you what, you just stick with it. And one day you will be worth more than what you ever thought you would be worth.
Now, anything to wrap up the show, Clay?
Well, I was just going to touch on that point one more time. It's important to work backwards. Figure out what's a comfortable monthly budget, and then we'll let you know what that price point is. A lot of people get sticker shock when they say, I want a $500,000 house. Oh, really? Well, you're going to pay X amount in your mortgage. Oh, my gosh, I can't afford that. So give us a call. We'd love to help you out, and we'll start you off on the right foot and move you in the right direction to a point where you're comfortable.
619-663-SELL, 619-663-7355. Thanks so much for listening to the show here on Whissel Wednesdays. Again, next Saturday, the 23rd, 8 a.m., Walker Preserve, Walk with Councilman John Minto. Thanks so much for joining me, and thanks so much for listening. This is Whissel Wednesdays.